Hey everyone, Georgianne here from the Monday Morning Flower and Balloon Company Bridal Consultation Room and my office once again. We get people that will ask us how much flowers cost and how big their arrangements are going to be. And I don't think it matters whether they're asking regarding wedding flowers or that birthday or get well bouquet that they want to send to their mother or their wife or someone that they love. And it's always such a hard question because as I tell people, flowers are very similar to food. And what I mean by that is if you get a 8-ounce steak, for example, that if it's a certain type of steak, it's going to cost more than an 8-ounce hamburger. And the reason that is that a sirloin steak or filet mignon actually costs more to produce because it's more rare. Obviously, there's only so much room on a cow, and the filet mignon, there's only this much filet mignon in a whole cow. And so it's kind of like a logistics problem, and talks really to how rare things are. And I think with food it's a perfect analogy because something that's very, very small like a truffle can cost a lot because it's very hard to find them, and they're a natural product. And it's the same thing with flowers. So I use food as an analogy all the time to try to get people to understand that the cost of a flower doesn't have anything to do with the size. So what I wanted to do today was just do a little visual for you because I thought it would be kind of fun. So bear with me. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm going to show you. The one thing I wanted to show you to start out is the lowly carnation. Now I love carnations, and people I think give them a bad rap. I'm going to show you one. It's only in white, but it comes in so many beautiful colors, and I think sometimes people are like, oh, no carnations, but I hate when people do that because they are such a beautiful flower and they smell nice and they last a long time. But I'm using that as an example because it probably is one of the lower costing flowers that we use in our repertoire of flowers when we're making wedding bouquets and also everyday arrangements. But I wanted to show you it because I wanted you to get an idea of size. Now, carnations cost what they do because they are fairly easy to grow. They can be shipped in total bud, which means you can fit hundreds of them in a case at one time. And they're really hardy, so they can kind of be harvested ahead of time and then kind of kept in stasis a little bit, packed in a cold cooler. So that is part of the reason why they are so cost effective, is because they grow very easily, they're easy to transport, and they last a long time. So the next example I wanted to give you, and this happens to be a short stem flower, so the head's a little bit smaller than usual, but this is a rose. Okay, so there's a Gelosia rose, and you can see that as far as the size, it's about the same size as the carnation. As a matter of fact, it's a little bit smaller than that. So here you're looking at a flower that's going to cost $1, $1.50, $2, depending on the variety and the color. And then here's a rose that's going to cost $3, $4, $5, maybe even $6 if it turns out to be a garden variety. Now again, this has to do with how prolific the plant is and how easy it is to ship this product. A lot of people think that roses are expensive, but I usually tell people that I consider them lower to moderate cost whenever I'm doing design, because there are a lot of other flowers that are certainly way more expensive than them. But roses are, a bush is fairly prolific. It does put out a lot of flowers, but of course the longer the stem, the more rare it is, and when you buy roses, you are paying for that beautiful stem length. Also, something that you may not know, generally speaking, every variety has different tendencies. So one variety of yellow rose might have a smaller or larger head than another variety. It might also have more petals or less petals, and it might have a smaller or larger size. And when we buy roses and when we talk about rose varieties from the growers, they do actually mention petal count and aperture of the rose. So that's just something that you should be aware of. So obviously the bigger the rose, the more packaging material it takes to get it from point A to point B, the heavier it is, the more the shipping costs. So it's all about economics. So I wanted to show you these two because they're the most, sorry about the white, it's not really showing up that well, but I wanted to show you these two because they're the two easiest ones for you to look to see, all right, why would this flower cost, let's say $2 at most, and this one be $5? You can see they're the same size. So if you're making an arrangement, this one, if you're using more roses, it's going to cost more than the carnation. So the next flower I wanted to show you, we have one in for some weddings. This is a lotus pod. I don't know if you've ever seen these. I just went to a botanical garden in New York Botanical Garden, and if you ever see in a garden where there's lily pads and a pond and there's these beautiful lily blooms, you're going to see these pods sprouting up, and that's just the way they are. They just sprout right up out of the water. So let's face it, how many people have a lily pond garden in their backyard? So the growers that harvest these or grow these on their property, these are quite rare. So they come in different sizes, and you'll also see them very often in dried form, but this one is fresh. Now, for example, I want to show you, because see how similar in size it is? It's about the same size as the carnation and the rose, but this is a $10 flower, and that's actually a pretty good price for this one. It's the summertime and the prices are a little bit deflated right now, but this is actually considered an exotic or unusual flower. I hate the word exotic, but in other words, it's rare. So it's the same size as these others, but you can see the cost is much higher. So here we go. We have a $2 flower at most, $5 flower at most, and then we have a $10 flower. So I wanted to show you that. Now here we go. I'm going to show you one more flower so that you get an idea of cost. This is a hydrangea. This is a fairly moderate size. It's not, we get ones that are probably twice this size, but this is a hydrangea that we use all the time in our daily event work, and it comes in white and light blue, and we sometimes get them in green. And these are great. We can dip dye them and make them any color. So these are a really steady brand of hydrangea that come out of South America. And this is a flower that we usually retail anywhere from, I'd say, if we're designing it and it's not just someone buying it in bulk for an event, you're going to pay anywhere from $6 to $8 for this flower. So this is what I wanted to show you. So to make it easy for you to understand, here's a hydrangea and here is a lotus pod. This is $10 and this is less than $10. So I get people all the time that will ask me, is hydrangea a good flower? Is it expensive? Well, it is expensive per stem if you look at it as being almost, $10 or $8, $9. So it certainly costs more than the carnation, and it certainly costs more than the rose, but you can see when you're holding it up against something a little bit more costly how cost effective the hydrangea can be. As a matter of fact, I think if you tried to put carnations together and make the same exact size as this hydrangea, it would probably cost you more. And so sometimes when people say, oh, well, give me all hydrangeas because they'll be less expensive than if I use roses or a hydrangea or something else, use all carnations, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to cost less. But the reason I wanted to show you these was I wanted people to get out of their head, if at all possible, that flowers, the cost has to do with the size, and that really isn't true. It really has to do with their rarity. So I hope that you found this little video helpful. As you know, we have two stores, one in Yardley, Pennsylvania and one in Princeton. We are a full-service florist. We do all kinds of flower designs for just daily occasions, sympathy, get well, birthday, and of course we do event designs such as weddings, showers, and pretty much all of that. So we hope that someday you use our services. You can shop us online at sendingsmiles.com, and remember, flowers are grown by nature. Organic gifts are wonderful for sending for any occasion, so we hope that you keep flowers in mind the next time that you need a gift. Thanks for visiting me and have a great day.